we're into week 6, and we are going to start looking at persuasion, and we'll do that this week and next week. So you are back to having a mini speech due this week. You're not going to have a major one. It's not an audience required speech. It's a mini speech, and it's called the sales pitch mini speech. It uses a very specific pattern that has proven to be very successful in persuasive speaking. And you'll, of course, read that in the text. And then you will do a sales pitch mini speech. It's a 2-minute speech. You get to make up the product if you want, or you can use something that's already out there. It's basically just to show that you understand and can utilize the steps in order for this particular process. Probably 90-95% of the advertising we see on television and here on the radio is built around this one pattern because, quite frankly, it works. I will put up also a short, probably, 20-minute-ish discussion about persuasion and particularly sales pitch mini speeches, and you'll see some examples. I have one example in there from a couple of years ago from a student in my online class, and it is just an absolutely wonderful sales pitch mini speech. It got an A. And so you'll get some examples there. Hopefully you watched last week's discussion on informative speaking because, and I told you this then, that last speech in that discussion is an absolute wonderful informative speech. It's one of the best speeches I've ever seen. So you'll have that to do, the sales pitch mini speech. And like I said, I will put up examples of that, of some of those. They're very easy to do, but you can be very good. Creativity is a plus. It gives you a chance to really have fun with it. And I usually have students tell me this is their most fun speech out of the entire class. You also will have to do your self-eval and your peer eval on your informative speeches. And you're going to do a discussion board on critically thinking about persuasion, and it has more or less to do with are these sources reliable sources, or are they skewed? If you go back to research, in the research chapter we talked about all the sources that are out there on the internet and how some are skewed and some are not, and you can tell the difference, and it pays to use good, valid supporting evidence. So you're going to look at a couple of examples and decide what you think about them in the discussion board. And then, of course, you've got the quiz. So that's really it for the week. I'm looking forward to grading. I haven't graded informative speeches yet, but I'm looking forward to those. There were some really interesting topics in there, so I can't wait to see that. I will say from just general feedback from looking at the speeches that I've graded so far, really need to look at credibility establishment in the introduction. You want to establish your credibility in the introduction, make the audience aware of why you are a credible source that they should listen to. Don't assume that they're going to believe you know what you're talking about. Don't assume they've seen previous speeches where you may have talked about that particular subject. Always approach it as though this is a brand new audience, they don't know anything about you, and this is why you should trust that I know what I'm talking about. That was the first item. The second item is use something in the introduction that really grabs the audience's attention and gets them to understand why they're going to learn something from this that's going to be useful to them personally. Don't just say, well, today I want to teach you how to do this, and then talk about what you want to talk about. Entice them. Make them want to understand it. Make them kind of a tie between, you may not have done this before, but in this given situation, you may find yourself in it and you won't know what to do, and here's what to do. Find a way to get them engaged and wanting to discuss this. And then, as always, preview your main points in the introduction, review your main points in the conclusion. Those are the things that I've seen pretty consistently not being done in the speeches that we've graded so far. So I just wanted to quickly bring that up. So that's it. If you got any other issues or questions, email me. Catch me in student hours on Monday and Wednesday, and I'll talk to you later.